So a micropipette is a very precision measuring device, and the ones we have each has a way of adjusting the numbers. They may sound different, they may look a little different, but each one is adjustable, and the number you read here is a volume. Pipetters are typically designated with numbers that describe their volume capacity. This is called a P1000, which can pipette up to 1,000 microliters. Usually 100 to 1,000 is its range. This is a P200, yellow cap, 20 to 200 microliters. This is a P50, orange cap, 5 to 50. This is a P10, 0.5 to 10 microliters. On most of them, the number you see is the number of microliters, so this is 184 microliters. On the P10, this is actually 2.1, so the red number is a decimal number. I can do 3.4, for example, microliters on this P10. For volumes up to 1 milliliter, you'll use this one, Pipetman. It's a very sturdy pipetter. You have one of these in your cabinet. When you use the Pipetman, this may look to you like 50 microliters, but it's really 500. So just multiply what you see on the dial by 10. So this would be 480. And as you can see, it will go all the way up to 1 milliliter, which will look on the dial like 100. Please don't go past that. You can, but it starts to get really difficult to turn, and then you'll break the machine. So that's 1 milliliter. Don't go past that. Micropipetters are used with pipette tips, which come in 3 different sizes. Here are tips for the largest pipetter, the P1000. Here are tips for the medium-sized pipetters, and you may not even be able to see it, but there are tips for the smallest pipetters here. The pipette tips we're using are graduated. There are these little lines that correspond to certain volumes. This is 10 microliters, 50, 100, and 200 microliters. Please use these lines to help you pipette accurately. In the beginning you have no experience and you can't tell whether that looks like 50 microliters or not. So use the lines. It will help you. On the tips for the P1000, for the Pipetman, they're lines. This is 100 microliters, 200 microliters, 500 microliters right here, and 1,000 right up here. Every ACR station has a P1000 Pipetman and boxes for tips. There are a variety of pipetters in the center of the research room. Color coding helps, also reading the labels helps. Spare tips are up here on this shelf, so when your box is empty, then you can refill it. The actual pipetter is very expensive, about $200 each. The pipette tip, on the other hand, is cheap, only a few cents. And so typically one use for the pipette tip, and then there is a way to eject using this button right here into the trash. For this next section, you need to have one of these pipetters in your hand. It doesn't matter which kind, they all work about the same. But I'm pushing on this top button here, and what you can't tell just by looking is that I've pushed it until it feels like it should stop. But I can go past that. And these settings are extremely important when you work the pipetter. First stop, second stop. To use a pipetter, typically you seat the pipette tip by tapping a few times. You press to the first stop, immerse just the tip in the liquid, and slowly release your thumb. That draws liquid up into the pipette tip, as seen here. To deliver the 50 microliters in this case, I will put the pipette tip into the tube, and now I'll press not only to the first stop, but all the way to the bottom. and that ejects the contents of the pipette tip 100% into the receiving vessel. So focusing on the thumb part here, to draw up liquid, first stop, slow release. That drops the liquid up. Then to deliver, all the way to the bottom. You'll practice pipetting using a balance to show your accuracy. I have water here, density is 1.00 grams per milliliter, and I've got a pipetter here which will be measuring 500 microliters. So if it's accurate, I'll see 0.500 here on the scale. I'm pipetting onto a watch glass, which is located in drawer 1. So you can see I did not get 500, I got 495. So that's 495 milligrams, which is actually 495 microliters. So I'm off by 5, which is a 1% error, acceptable. I'll zero this out and try again. So you'll want to practice until you get reproducible results. So practice with a variety of pipetters according to your worksheet. Use the scale to determine your accuracy. See whether you can reproducibly pipette accurately.